Probability using data. So quantifying probability, this does pop up a couple random times throughout the exam. How do you quantify data? I mean, probability, right? How do you quantify the risk, the probability that a risk will happen? So the damages from something happening, a risk event, such as getting hacked or even tornado happening or anything, right? Uh, or an attack like physical on your company is the cost of the damages times the probability of risk. It's kind of like a weighted average cost of capital, plus cost with no damages times the probability of no risk. So let's say well, I'll show you in this example. Let's say it would cost $100 if the damages happened times the probability of that happening plus the cost with no damages, which a lot of times that'll be zero because it's just no damages, so there's no cost, times the probability of no risk. All right, let's take a look at how this works. XYZ company helps to manage its risk by utilizing risk analysis. Good for you, XYZ company. For each new project, a risk probability is estimated. For project A, the company has estimated a risk probability of 20% or 0.2 that it will see significant damages. So you see right here, starting to fill out the formula, classic plug and chug. So we've 20% is the probability of the risk. Okay. Project A has a budget of 50,000. I don't really see where that's relevant, so we'll ignore it. And if the risk occurs, the cost will be 15,000. So right here, the cost of the damages. I mean, with this 50,000, they're trying to get you to say that, oh, the whole project will be ruined, so we got to put 50,000 as the amount. It's not the case. What's the expected monetary value of this event? So 20% that it does happen, which means that there's 80% chance it won't happen. Right? These got to equal 100. Damages, if it does happen, are 15,000. What happens if it does not happen? $0 damages. Although there could be costs with no damages, such as, I don't know, it could say include insurance or something like that. This cancels itself out. Anything times 0 is 0, so it's just 20% times 15,000. It gives us $3,000. That's how you quantify the probability of a risk event, the damages of that risk event happening. I'd say this is actually pretty important. I would know this. It's not like, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe you get like 3 questions on it. Just know it. It could pop up in topics other than IT, such as ERM, right? The risk there. So pretty interesting, actually. If you ever wanted to quantify risk in your own life. Oh, what's the risk of driving without the best car insurance? Go for it. Go for it and quantify your own risk. Probability using data as well. We've got another one a little bit more in depth. Let's go through it. So first, let's read the question since there's a lot of information. We don't want to get overwhelmed. What's the expected annual loss from user error? Uh-oh, we've got user error. None of you better be the ones causing this user error. The company has an online order processing system. The company is in the process of determining the dollar amount of loss from user error. The company estimates the probability of occurrence of user error to be 90%. That's pretty high. That's not very good. With evenly distributed losses ranging from $1,000 to $30,000. Well, that's pretty rough. I'm just gonna say, wow, it's a little rough. What's the expected annual loss from user error? We're gonna generally do the same sort of approach, but let's see what changes here. So probability theory helps formulate quantitative models to deal with situations involving uncertainty. Such situations are described by means of random variables. A random variable can take several values. So in this case, right, so for example, 30,000, each with a specified probability, 90%. Since there are 2 given values, each has a 1 out of 2 chance of happening, meaning we're going to give this range 50% chance to $1,000 happening and 50% chance to $30,000 of damages happening. As such, you see here, this is like an average. We're doing 90% chance of $1,000 damages happening, and we're weighting that by half, plus $30,000 of damages times 90% times a half, or divided by 2. That gives us an annual loss of $13,950. Alternatively, you could do it this way, which is actually much simpler. Just two ways to go about it, whichever you prefer, however your heart desires. So add them both together. That gets you 31,000. Divide that by 2. Multiply it by 90%. Now, technically, you would also do the other part and do 0% times, $0 in damages times 10%, which is the odds it won't happen, but, that's goes up to 0, and you don't really need that. But just to show you that that is happening. Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.